So for tonight's lesson, you're going to learn how to solve literal equations. And all that a literal equation is an equation that has probably a lot of variables. It may have numbers also, but it has a lot of variables as well. So what you're going to need to do is to solve for the variable that they ask for. The letters that do not represent the desired variable need to be moved to the other side of the equation so that the one variable you are solving for stands alone. So basically you're going to isolate the one variable that you want to solve for. Even though there's more letters in these equations, what's really important to remember is that the method that you would use to solve any normal equation is the same method you use to solve literal equations. So here's how this works. We need to solve for the variable b in the first equation. We're looking to solve for b. So everything that's not b has to move to the opposite side. Well, that means AX, that group, has to get to the right-hand side of the equation. And what you need to do is subtract it. Because AX minus AX cancels. What you're left with on the left is B. And on the right, you have C minus by AX. This would be your answer for the first problem. B equals C minus AX. And you're done. That's it. On the second example, you're looking to solve for the variable a. So the variable a is here, the variable a is there. Well, what's happening to that variable a? It's being multiplied by x. It's also being added by b. You need to undo the equation as you would any normal equation, which means you're going to subtract b from both sides. What that leaves you with is the ax. B minus b are inverses. They go away. It's equal to C take away B. You can't actually do C take away B, not a big deal. What's left to do now is to get rid of whatever's being done to the letter A. Well, what's being done to A right now is it's being multiplied by X. How do you undo multiply by X? You divide both sides by X. And what you're left with is A equals C take away B divided by x. That is your final answer. It doesn't look as nice as when you get a number, but it's still correct, and the process is the exact same. Another example, a equals 1/2 bh. You're solving for h. Hopefully you recognize this equation. This equation happens to be the area for a triangle. So what you need to do is get rid of everything that's happening to h. Right now h is being multiplied by 1/2 and multiplied by b. Well, how do you get rid of multiplying by 1/2? You could divide by 1/2. Remember, dividing by a fraction means to multiply by its reciprocal. So how I'm going to do it is I'm first going to multiply both sides by 2, or 2 over 1. What happens then is 1/2 and that 2 disappear. They're inverses of one another. So what you're left with on the left is 2 times a equals b times h. Again, we're looking to get the letter h alone, and what's happening to the h right now is it's being multiplied by b. How do you undo multiply by b? You divide by b, and your answer is 2a divided by b is equal to h. Same exact problem, area of a triangle, but now you're solving for b. Nothing changes except the letters that you deal with. So now what I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 2 again. 1/2 times 2 is 1. They're inverses of one another. I'm left with 2a on the left equals b times h. Again, we're looking to get b all alone this time. So b right now is being multiplied by h. I'm going to divide both sides by h, and then you get 2a divided by h is equal to b. Let's take a look at the next couple of examples. The third one, hopefully you recognize that formula as distance equals rate times time. This should be hopefully a pretty easy one. You're looking to isolate the letter r. What's happening to r right now? It's being multiplied by t. How do you undo multiply by t? You divide by t, and then you get d divided by t equals r. On the next one, you're looking to solve for the letter f. We want f to be alone. So what happens here is f is being multiplied by 3, and then it's being subtracted by 24. Well, in a normal equation, you would have to add 24 to both sides. Well, you really can't do s but plus 24, so you leave it as s plus 24, and that's equal to 3f. Again, you want f to be all alone. F is being multiplied by 3. How do you undo multiply by 3? You divide both sides by 3, and then you get the answer of s plus 24 divided by 3 equals f. This is fine to leave your answer like this. If you would like to, you could also simplify this answer, but just understanding that if you have a fraction over a denominator, what's happening is this is really s over 3 plus 24 over 3 equals f, which means your answer simplified stays s over 3 plus 8 equals f. This answer is acceptable too. I'd prefer just to see you leave it like this, but you can simplify it if you'd like. Okay. What's going to happen now is there's some practice problems for you to do. At this point, I would pause the video, work on these problems, and then restart the video, and you'll see my explanations. So pause this video until you're ready to go, and then when you're done, unpause it, and you can see the answers, and then you should be able to complete the homework. So pause. All right, so this first example, 1/3 over p equals n, solve it for p. I need to multiply both sides by 3, and what's going to happen is p is equal to 3n. Number 2, I want to solve this equation for y. I'm going to add d to both sides, and I get xy equals m plus d. I have to divide both sides here by x, and the answer becomes y equals m plus d divided by x. That's number 2. Number 3, I need to get c to the opposite side first. I'm going to subtract c from both sides. Y divided by 2 equals d minus c. And now I need to get rid of my fraction, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. And that will leave me with y equals 2d minus c. If you want to distribute, that's fine. You could also say y equals 2d minus 2c. Either one of those is just fine. This next problem, volume equals length times width times height. I need to undo my multiplying by length and height. I'll do it all at once. I'm going to divide v by LH, and then v divided by LH equals w. And then when I get to number 5, what I'm going to do here is I need to solve for L, so I need to subtract both sides by 2w. And then I get P take away 2w equals 2L. And then I need to divide both sides by 2. And I'm just going to leave this as P minus 2w over 2 equals L. Again, if you want to simplify that further, you can, but you need to separate it into 2 fractions before you simplify. This last one's actually pretty tricky. This last one you're going to have to factor. You're looking to solve for a, but what happens here is on the left-hand side, you've got a in both of those pieces. So what you're going to have to do is factor out the a. So on the left, a times the quantity 1 plus r equals b plus r. And then what happens is a is being multiplied by that quantity, so you have to divide by that exact quantity. And then your final answer looks like a equals b plus r divided by 1 plus r. That's a tricky one. The factoring, I'm not so worried about if you don't get that right now. We will do some factoring more of that later. 1 through 5 should not be a problem. And then you get into some word problems. Your school is ordering computer equipment. Let C represent the cost of one personal computer and P represent the cost of one printer. Write an expression, not an equation. Write an expression for the total cost of 15 computers and 8 printers. And then I would do it like this, 15C plus 8P. And then it says the school discovers that it needs 8 additional computers and 4 additional printers. Write the expression for the cost of the additional. For the additional, we're looking really just for 8 more computers plus 4 more printers. And then it says write an expression that will represent the total amount of money. And now I'm going to combine my like terms for 23 computers total and 12 printers total. That's more of a review from before. Last but not least, Sam says that the following equations are 2 ways to write the same formula. Decide whether you agree or not with Sam. Make sure you explain. Well, I'm going to cross multiply both of these and see what happens. When I cross multiply, I'm going to realize that this binomial has to be in parentheses. So I'm going to have S times the quantity n plus 1 equal to n. When I cross multiply this side, I'm going to have n times the quantity S minus 1 equals S. Well, if I try to get these things to be equal and I distribute through, I get on this left-hand piece ns plus s equal n, and on the right I get ns minus n equals s. All I can do is get the n on the second equation to the opposite side. So what I will do is I'm going to add n. At the same time, I'm going to subtract s. Hopefully you can follow this, just doing it all on one line. And what ends up happening is ns minus n equals n. These two equations are not the same. So did Sam say that these are 2 ways to write the same equation? And they are not. Okay, so at this point you should be fine with your homework. Please have that homework completed, and I will see you tomorrow.